I've been thinking a lot about how easy it is to create a list of goals that you want to accomplish in 2025 and how hard it is to actually accomplish them. We get excited by creating a list itself, we get excited by something new, something fresh. But when we actually realize how much effort it takes for us to accomplish that goal of what is actually needed or required, we abandon it altogether. True change is not about just setting goals, it's about creating the habits that support the life that you want to live. Let that sink in for a moment. One thing that I'm focusing on this year is managing my time better. And it's not just about putting a bunch of tasks on my calendar, but it's also about figuring out how much time each task takes me, especially like routine and mundane tasks, and how I can make those tasks efficient so I can actually have more time for the things that will have a bigger impact on my life and that will bring me closer to my goals. So one thing that I've been doing is setting up a timer just to kind of like figure out how long this and that takes me, and then becoming essentially a little bit faster while not sacrificing the quality. I also realized that I do not need to reinvent the wheel. Instead of being envious of others or jealous, I am actually learning to learn from other people, other creators. I am staying open, I am staying humble, and it's okay if you don't know everything and if you don't have everything figured out. Other people made mistakes, and it's okay to learn from the mistakes of other people. And honestly, there is so much things that we can learn when we actually stay open to learning. I've been guilty for snoozing my alarm on the weekends for a very long time, which is why this year I am doing my best to actually wake up with the first alarm and not snooze it. The other thing that I'm doing for the weekends is actually doing more of a meal planning for my weekends, because when I'm doing errands and doing this and that, I do not want to spend hours in my kitchen cooking every day, which is why having some sort of a meal prep definitely helps with that and gives me more opportunity to relax and do things that are more meaningful. And this year, I'm also committing to actually going to the doctor if something is bothering me and not doing a bunch of research on the internet to trying to figure out what it is. If something's wrong, it's better to have it checked right away rather than waiting and dwelling on it and getting anxious. I'm also going to implement this new thing that I've learned recently. 10 minutes for 10 hours is when I will be spending 10 minutes every morning to plan my day. I think this little thing will help me to alleviate my anxiety and to structure my day better. I've been on and off with the meditation where I would be consistently daily meditating, and then I would get sick of it and I will abandon it for literally years, which is why this year I'm going to treat meditation as a daily practice in terms of it doesn't have to be even a guided meditation. Even if I set up a timer for like 5 minutes and just focus on my breath, that still counts, that still matters. Doing your finances can be very overwhelming, which is why this year I'm going to implement an easy budgeting system. Sometimes it's hard because you have to be honest with yourself with what you spent and whatnot, but having a budgeting system in place can actually allow you to feel more confident with where you are and where you want to be. The first step you can do is actually being honest with yourself and take responsibility for the current situation you're in, because when you take that responsibility, it's easier for you to take responsibility to actually change the situation for the better, opposed to blaming others and everything around, because you are essentially giving the power to others for changing your situation instead of giving the power to yourself. I'm also going to start creating phone-free moments in my day, especially during the weekends, because sometimes I would literally spend morning just reloading my TikTok and Instagram and not even creating any content, but like just constantly checking my stats, even though they wouldn't change. So I will be intentionally working on that. I will be also implementing monthly reflections, and what I mean by that is that at the end of every month, I will be reflecting on things that worked, things that didn't work, things that I've accomplished, things that brought me closer to my goals, things that maybe brought me further away from my goals, and essentially that will be a point from where I can start working on things that I can actually implement next month instead of just blindly doing and repeating the same things over and over again and hoping for a better outcome. The other thing that I'm going to be doing this year is doing some sort of hobby just for myself without any outcome, without any goal, just doing something for the sake of doing and enjoying that process. So for example, like painting or baking something or doing some sort of craft. The other thing that I'm going to be doing this year is actually celebrating my achievements and not brushing them off and moving on to the next thing, because I think we're all guilty of that. So it doesn't have to be anything extravagant or out of ordinary. Even just buying yourself a nice cup of coffee or a pastry, or just giving yourself time to watch a movie without a guilt, or indulge in your favorite comfort food again without a guilt, just to celebrate your accomplishment. It's still important because it will provide you with more strength, with more creativity to accomplish your next big goal. This year, I'm actually committing to do intentional acts of kindness every week, whether it's helping a neighbor, giving a compliment, buying somebody a cup of coffee. I think it is important to be kind to each other because that can make essentially a better world. Talking about the world, I think it is important to stay informed about what is actually going on in the world. For so long, we've been told that listening to the news is bad, it's toxic, what's the point? But I think it is important to be aware of what is happening and form your own opinion on a situation. Listening to news and being informed is not really the same thing, because you do not have to go spend hours just by watching news and then feeling like it's gloom and doom and there is no point to live. I think it's just important to know what is happening in the world so you can make more informed choices when it comes to voting, when it comes to having conversations, when it comes to making some other choices in your life. And instead of feeling helpless, you can always start with things that you can do that can essentially make the world a better place. And again, it doesn't have to be extraordinary. The acts of kindness and staying informed, they kind of tie into each other, because being kind to each other can essentially help change the world. So you can start with that. These are the habits that I am implementing in 2025. If any of these resonate with you, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're curious about how I'm resetting and reflecting on the year, please make sure to check out Reflect, Reset, Bloom series, where I share my journey. Remember that it's small habits that will help you to make big shifts. Let's bloom this year. I'm wishing you a year of growth, joy, and purpose, and I'm hoping to see you in my next video. Bye!